Hi, and welcome to episode 1 of the Reboot Aussie Mac Zone, recorded on the 18th of June 2013 in front of a live virtual audience. Adam, Chris, and myself last left you back in 2009 after the arrival of the iPhone in Australia. Lots has changed since then, but what hasn't changed is the need for Apple news, reviews, and views. The Mac Zone is back, rebooted, new look, new voices, new technology. Now streaming video live as we record it at aussietechheads.com.au/live every Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Come and join the lounge for the live recording. Thanks to all that have turned up for the first rebooted episode tonight. Hello, lounge. Audio will be available from iTunes or in the RSS feed, your personal feed catcher, whatever is your preference. Same Aussie Mac Zone feed. So if you're already subscribed, you didn't leave us for the last 5 years, well, the feed will just reactivate. You'll get all the latest shows back. Woohoo! All right, so video of the show will be available on YouTube Wednesday. For now, until things get sorted, best bet is to like the Aussie Tech Heads Facebook page at facebook.com/Aussie Tech Heads, and we will post as content becomes available. We still want to hear from you, so if you have anything you want to contribute, you can email us now at maczone@aussietechheads.com.au. Bandwidth for Aussie Mac Zone is provided by the Aussie Tech Heads hosting. And you can see the hosting plans at aussietechheads.com.au/hosting. Go grab some space starting from $5.95 per month. All right, Aussie Mac Zone, we're going to start right now. So the new reboot. And we've got a new panel. Let's go through them. Now, here to my virtual left. Who are we going to go through first? Garth, he's already on the screen. And you may know Garth from...
Hey, g'day, Glenn.
Hello, Garth. You may know Garth from Aussie Tech Heads and also iBlindTech.com. All right, how you going, Garth?
Absolutely. Good, mate. How's it going?
Good, thanks. Now, I've been listening to some iBlindTech, and you guys get really heavy into the Apple stuff, so that's great. That's good.
Absolutely.
Well,
get us all underway.
Yes, that's right. Now, and to Garth's virtual left, we have Jason. How you going, Jason? With a Y.
Hey, Glenn. How's it going?
Good. Now, no one's probably heard of you. This is your first time onto a podcast?
Absolutely. So, long-time listener, first-time podcaster.
Oh, good stuff. Now, Jace, you're from the Adelaide. So, from sunny Adelaide. And you've
sunny Adelaide. So we've gone national now. So we've got, I think, someone from every state.
That's right, just about. I think we just need a Northern Territorian, and we'll be right. And your background, IT and security. That's where you fit into the mix.
Absolutely. Yep.
And Apple fanatic. All right. And to that Jason is another Jason, but we're going to refer to him as Warlock. How you doing, Warlock?
How's it going? Not too bad.
Good. Now, you've seen this Warlock before, and he's been around on Tech Webcast and a couple of other ones. Tech Talk Radio, was it?
Yep.
And there was another one you put in the notes there somewhere.
Mac Talk.
Ah, good boy. Good stuff. Now, you get up to, developing iPhone apps and Android apps through the day?
Yeah, I've done a bit of fiddling around with that kind of thing, made a couple little games. I'm thinking maybe in the future I'm going to focus more on the Android, but we'll see how that goes.
All right. So, but you're running Mac. You're pretty familiar with Macs, and you're well abreast with all the news that's going on.
Definitely. Yeah, always keep up with all the news and technology, and I've got a MacBook Pro, so I still qualify.
All right. Good. All right.
Yeah,
now,
we won't help the Androids against you.
No, not yet. Now, the other, Jason, what's your Mac collection look like?
My Mac collection at the moment, I got in for the new 27-inch iMac when it came out, so rocking that at the moment with an SSD, which is very nice.
Nice.
And a Mac Mini for my media server, and a MacBook Air just for, I guess, when I'm not in the house.
Right.
So
good. Now, what about mobile? iPhone?
iPhones all around in this family, and iPad Mini, iPod Touch,
Apple TV,
iPod Nano. Oh, multiple Apple TVs.
Yeah,
of course.
Right. What versions?
Need you ask?
Yes.
So all the latest version. Actually, it was quite good because I guess committed to the Apple ecosystem and do all my stuff through iTunes. So I actually managed to sell off the version 2 Apple TVs I had for about twice as much money as I paid for them. So that turned out
Sweet.
quite nicely.
Were they the version 2s?
Yeah, so the other ones that can be hacked,
Yeah.
and so they're quite popular where the version 3s can't be. So
Yeah, not as yet.
yeah, you can get a fair price of the version 2 still, I think, for people who are wanting to
Yeah.
hack them and put Plex and that on there.
And
What if
XBMC,
you
I
tried
think.
to hack them and now it's not working anymore?
And that's not so good.
No.
I probably won't be able to sell it then.
And Garth, what's your ecosystem like there at your place?
Okay, so they said a long time ago that the iPod was the gateway drug. I think they were right. Started off with a little iPod Shuffle,
Oh, yes.
iPod Nano.
Yep.
Uh,
And well and
I was
truly.
one of those very, very sad people who lined up on day one of the iPad release in Australia. Haven't had more fun in a line in my entire life. But
Yeah, right.
when the iPad 1 came out, I was there in line, having read the manual 3 times already.
Nice. Nice.
So yeah, there is an element of pity that could be tossed my way there. But no, I loved it. So now I'm just running a MacBook Air, which sort of lives with me. And I say that because everywhere I go is, they're so perfect, light and portable, and because of the SSD, still do everything I need to do.
Yeah, nice.
So MacBook Air, iPhone, iPad 3rd gen, and iPad Mini,
All right.
all with 3G where I can. Yeah.
Now, as a bit of a contrast from when you last saw me back in 2009 on this show, I don't think I had one thing Apple, but now I've got plenty. I've got a Mac Mini, probably not the latest one, but the second latest, and that's recording now with using GarageBand. I've got an iPhone 5. I do have an iPhone 3 somewhere around the place. The kids are using that now. I've got an iPod, like one of those old skinny ones. With a screen on it, and I've got an Apple TV version 3, the 1080p one, and Airport Express. So I'm into it. I'm well into it. So it's good. It's good to get back into some Apple stuff, and I'll tell you what, the stuff just works, doesn't it? That's what I like about it the most. You just plug it in, and away you go. All right. Well, let's kick off with some topics now. I think, and I suppose the biggest news of the past couple of weeks is the WWDC 2013. So who would like to start or give us a wrap-up or tell us what is that all about?
I can kick that one off if you
All
like,
right,
Glenn.
go on. Yes.
So obviously we've had a week now to digest that, and many Apple podcasts and blogs have gone to meltdown, I think, with people's views and opinions. So the new flat design in iOS 7 and OS 10 Mavericks, not OS 10 C line. Who's that guy wore like Craig, the one with the Air Force One, the one with the hair.
Craig Federighi?
Federighi, that's the one. Yeah, Craig Federighi. Yeah. So
So Jason,
he had a quite interesting presentation with with a bit of humour in there.
do you have are you part of the Apple developers club or whatever you call it, so you get the previews of the iOSs as they come out, or you just stand in line with the rest of us?
I stand in line with everyone else, so under no NDA here.
Oh, good. Now, you might know Eric. He's going to join us every now and then as time permits, and he has got access to all the new stuff. So he can't talk about it freely, but he can give us some ideas and some heads up with as new stuff comes out. But the WWDC now, this OS X C line, what's that all about? Is that was a joke? Is that right?
That was a joke, yeah. The joke was that they've run out of cats, so to play off the lion theme, they were going to go with C line.
Right.
But instead they went with OS 10 Mavericks, so they've gone to a new theme now, which is meant to be Californian, I guess, places or things.
Right.
I believe it's a surf beach or surf off the coast.
California that inspire them.
Yes.
Inspirational places, I guess.
So we got the OS X C line. Well, thankfully that's I saw some C lines at SeaWorld the other day. So yeah, there you go. I'm not going to see any on my Apple Mac Mini. So what else happens out there at the WWDC? We've got here. What is the iBooks and Maps? They've had a refresh. Is that right?
Well, that's actually the first time they've been on OS 10, so on the Mac. So iBooks used to only be on the iPhone and iPad. So now they've come to the Mac and Maps, even with turn-by-turn directions. So not sure how helpful that's going to be, but I guess if you got your laptop sitting on the front seat of the car, you can get it to direct you around.
Yeah, right. Well, why would they put maps onto laptops? Yeah, you're right.
Aha.
Well,
so I guess you look it up at home. You're at home. You're thinking, okay, where am I going? I need to find out where I'm going. You look it up on Maps on your Mac, and you push it straight to your phone. So when you open Maps on your iPhone onto the same iCloud account, there's your directions sitting there ready to go.
Right.
That's sweet. You can do the same thing with Google now. With on Chrome, send it to Google Maps. But to have it built in through iCloud, through Maps there is pretty sweet, really.
Now, Maps is getting better. It's got me to everywhere that I've needed to go, so I don't mind it at all. I like the turn by turn. I like the knowing what street I'm going down rather than just turn left, because sometimes you don't know what left. So that's good. So let's just go through these. Safari.
Safari, I guess, maybe again with a bit of a Google catch-up has got shared links now between all your devices. Maybe the more interesting one they had was where you've got your Twitter and Facebook friends and people that you follow. The links that are in those feeds will now show up and a tab in Safari, so you can go and follow those and view them on your Mac.
Right, nice. And the iCloud keychain, username, password. There's heaps of changes by the look of it.
Yeah, so I guess with iCloud key change, what they've done there is, and it may be a bit of a Sherlock for the one password product. So around username and password management for your website. So generating a password, being able to securely store it and share it between your devices and Macs. And even storing things like credit cards in there. So good idea. And obviously trying to get away and promote safer usage for people that are using the same username and passwords for all their sites, which isn't a good idea.
Do you think that...
I think this is one of my favorite things from the from WWDC, the keychain.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's not only it's between all of your Macs, it's across and your iOS devices. So the one thing that one password, and what's the other one that everyone uses, similar sort of name. On iOS, you have to cut and paste, and that's never fun on iOS. So to have it built into Safari on iOS, or you use the one password browser itself. But if you want to use Safari, to have all that stuff built right in, I think is pretty sweet.
Warlock, what did you say that? What you come up with a name of what?
I think the other one is LastPass.
Oh, that's the one, yeah.
Yeah, LastPass is the one that a lot of people use, isn't it? One password and LastPass.
But I
don't know if it's to a degree it's Sherlocking them. Sherlocking?
Yeah, Sherlocking.
But
right, yeah.
Now I know.
By the same token, it also sort of raises the prominence of this kind of service.
Now I know. Sorry,
across other devices that are not iOS, so they won't be going away anytime soon, anyway.
No,
exactly.
I don't think so.
Because the LastPass, that doesn't really work for me on the it does work obviously, but it's not as handy as it is on the desktop. But the LastPass is good. Now, Garth, I listened to one of your latest episodes, I think, on iblindtech.com, and you were pretty good at predicting what was coming out at the WWDC, even to the scorn and scoff of your other hosts. But, but you stuck to your guns.
There's a mixture of predictions and hopes, and thankfully I got my hope. I don't care about the the resolution on my iPad. On my what do you call this thing? MacBook Air.
Yep.
The battery life though, that really counts. So that was one thing I wanted. Let's not go Retina on the MacBook Air. Let's skip the Retina and stick with the long battery life. And thankfully that's what they did.
Now
and
rumors
pull out a MacBook Air with 11-inch MacBook Air with 9 hours battery life. That's just freaking awesome, right?
Well, they were nice. I mean, they're now promoting the MacBook Air as having all-day battery life. So I think the 13-inch went from 7 hours to 12 hours. So that's getting pretty good for that's iPad-type battery life for a laptop.
Yeah,
For
and
a proper piece, for a proper computer.
A lot of that's coming from the Intel Haswell chipset that they're now using, which is optimized for better battery life.
Now, I saw an article.
Exactly, yeah.
I saw an article. Well, I haven't got the links to it because I was only reading it and I didn't expect to talk about this. But there was an article about people putting Windows 8 or Windows 7 onto these new MacBooks, and the battery life has been like 3 hours. So do you think that is there really that much of a difference in the actual the coding of the OS that translates the length of battery life?
I guess I
think there is, yeah.
They've got the Haswell chipset drivers on there. They haven't mentioned that in the articles, I don't think. So
you
if
think
they
that-
had those, it'd probably make a difference.
Right.
And this is only for Mountain Lion. They haven't said what the battery life's going to be for Maverick, so it might even be better because it's got better management for applications, keeping them in the background and stop them hogging the CPU and battery so much as well. So it could be even longer yet.
See, a lot of that stuff Windows 8 had already as well. So I mean, it's not revolutionary. It's keeping up with the Joneses. So I think a huge amount of that extended battery life has come from the Haswell chipset.
Yep.
And a smaller proportion, but still a significant amount, has come from the changes they've made with OS X.
Because I know
I think the final bit was iFixit. I think there was an article in the last couple of days where they pulled an 11-inch MacBook Air apart, and the SSD component or drive was a little bit smaller, and there is a slightly increased battery with increased battery capacity there as well. So it looks like those three things: the chipset, bit bigger battery, and what's going to come out of Mavericks.
Because I know at a couple of years ago, I had this old laptop. It was a Windows laptop, and we got this update out for it, and it said, "Oh, put this update on; it'll increase the battery life." So it just didn't seem to me at the time. Didn't seem feasible that you could code something, an OS, to actually increase or decrease the battery life.
I've seen those things. You click on them on the internet, don't you, Glenn?
Yeah.
Increase your battery life.
They sort of pop up on your screen every now and then, don't they?
Yeah.
That's right.
And you have to fill out a survey as well.
Yeah. I think you can get cream for it as well. Yeah. Sorry, Garth.
Sorry, Glenn. Sorry, I was just going to say, I think, they obviously have made some improvements from a software standpoint in increasing the battery life. Some of the things they were talking about with that, what was the sleep thing called? Smart sleep or
Nap?
App nap, that's the one.
Nap, wasn't it? Yeah.
and even, there's a corollary in iOS as well with the way that, recently used applications or most prominently used applications are the ones that, when it powers up the radio, it says, okay, these other apps are probably going to want to update themselves as well. So while we've got this radio going, while we've got the GPS going, while we've got the Wi-Fi going, whatever it is, let's update those as well. So I think they've done quite a few smart things under the hood with both iOS and Mavericks to help with battery life overall.
And the last little thing that we want to talk about is the multiple displays. So there's no longer a primary or secondary display. Each has its own menu bar.
I did like that one. Yeah, so each display now that you run has its own menu bar and dock, and so operates independently. And you can even run spaces on each of those. So and run full screen apps. So that's quite neat.
Yep.
And on top of that, the thing that I thought was really cool was if you got an Apple TV, I think since maybe Mountain Lion was it where you could mirror your display to it. Now you can make your Apple TV a full functional display, so it can have a menu bar and dock and be like another full display.
Yeah, that's good.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, that's good.
Another reason to get an Apple TV. I need one or two more, and then I'll be there.
Yeah, I've got one, and I like it. I just screen, mirror, and everything to it. It's great. All right.
Okay, so maybe, Glenn, the thing that has changed, or actually hasn't changed yet in the last 5 years, is the Mac Pro. It's still actually the same as it was 5 years ago, but there is now a new one.
Yes.
And Now, whether it's a Braun coffee machine or a Japanese dustbin, or maybe something even from Doctor Who, which you'd probably appreciate, Glenn, it's
you never know.
certainly a radical design, I guess, in being cylindrical.
It's wild.
But very sexy, black and shiny.
How do you guys feel about that thing?
I think it's wild. I think it's great.
It's going to be a problem for designers and stuff because they're not going to be able to upgrade it with a better video card in the future or upgrade the hard drive or anything because everything's soldered in.
I think you could do the hard
with
drive
the video,
and the RAM.
Yeah, and with the video, I guess you could always put that on to. I mean, you can externalize that as well if you had to. But I mean, just the shape itself. There's a part of me that thinks, "Wow," like you said, Glenn. That's wild. That's cool. That's awesome. Another part of me that says, "What the hell were they thinking?"
Yeah,
there's
a
no
lot
way
of people want to rack. Yeah, they want to rack mount it, a bunch of them together, and that one you're going to have them all sitting on the floor or on the table next to a computer. Although I was listening to a podcast today, and one of the guys was saying that they'd like to see if it's small enough to fit in a backpack and they could carry it around with them wherever they want to go.
Because everyone loves carrying around their Mac Pros.
What's the weight
They
of
look
it?
like a cleaner, wouldn't they? With the thing on their cleaners walking around with their vacuums on their back.
It's pretty little though, I
can do
suppose.
everything.
It's not like carrying around the old Mac Pro, which was just a monumental, huge mammoth thing. So I guess it's a bit different. But
do we know what it
but
weighs?
yeah, it's just no.
So I wonder what it weighs. It must weigh. You think it would weigh like a fair bit, like it's not going to be that light. But it's a radical design, and I know the upgrading problem exists for me. But then again, upgrading is a problem across the board, pretty much, isn't it?
Well, I guess it's this whole thing with Thunderbolt as well, and we really haven't seen, I guess, Thunderbolt do too much. So this is really going to make or break it around where things need to be externalized, and there needs to be Thunderbolt hardware available.
Yeah.
The only Thunderbolt hardware available now is just so effing expensive. It's not funny.
Yeah. So this thing's got what's it got in it? It's got a twin 6-core Xeon E5 CPUs. Graphics power is provided by 2 professional AMD Fire Pro graphics cards, 4 DDR3 DIMMs slots. So obviously, you must be able to poke another one in there. I doubt it would come maxed out. For I/O ports, you get 4 USB 3, 6. What's that? 6.
So 620 gig Thunderbolt 2. So this is going to Thunderbolt 2 now as well. So
Yeah.
Thunderbolt, like I've got now, is 10 gig. This is 20, and it's got 3 controllers or 3 channels. So there's actually, I guess, 60 gig of throughput there. So it's certainly got the bandwidth to drive other video controllers. But I think they did mention, guys, didn't they, that it can drive 3 4K displays with what it's got now. So that's pretty crunchy at the moment.
I mean, we're worrying about upgrading this baby, but who's going to want to upgrade that for quite a while?
True.
Multiple server chips in it. I mean, it's insane.
Yes.
One part of me looks at it and goes, that is absolutely ridiculous. And, what were they thinking with the design, with the shape of it? Are they just making it a cylinder to be different, to say we're innovating so that we can come out with that fantastic line, which it was a fantastic line of, don't innovate my ass.
Yeah. Well,
how much of that was so that they could do that line, and what's actually functional about that design? I don't know. But
I think one of the bonuses is they only need the one fan to push the air straight up through the middle of all the components instead of having them all over the place like they had to before.
Yeah, that's
it's such a cost and I mean, I can understand. Yes, great, one fan. However, of all the components within your PC or your computer, is the fan one that you really need to minimize to reduce costs or to reduce anything? I guess a bit of noise, and we know how much Apple hates noise. Or Jobs hated noise, but other than that, who cares? One less, 1 or 2 less fans.
Apple does a lot of things with their own decisions that we don't really understand why they do.
Exactly.
It's like, why the hell's that? Yeah. Well, because we're Apple, so we did it.
Because we said so.
Yeah.
So I see.
It does remind me a little of G3 Cube, and I know that's been mentioned on a number of podcasts. And one would hope it's a little more successful than that, which obviously looked very cool, but was very much underpowered, and I think had a lot of problems with reliability and cracking of the case. But I guess Sir Johnny's put a lot of work into this one.
He has.
It looks beautiful.
Probably going to be a fair whack of dollars too.
Well, the current base model, I had a look. If you were to buy a Mac Pro today, it's like $3,000 Australian. So it's going to be interesting to see where it's going to be, because one would think it's not going to be any cheaper than that. So
it's not going to be anything like cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Who's the market?
I was
going to say, let's all put your money on the table. How much is that baby? How much will you pick one of those up for? No, not how much will you spend, but what do you reckon? How much is that going to be when it comes out?
I reckon
maybe 5.
You reckon?
5? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think
Australia with the Apple
I think
tax,
it's pretty close to the money.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I'd push 6. I wouldn't be scared to push 6 on it.
Geez, I would have. Oh, yeah, I've obviously got no idea. I would have said like maybe 3.7, 3.750. Why not?
You might be right, Glenn. Let's hope you are.
Well, that's my bet. But I also notice in the specs here, wireless is the new ultra fast 802.11 AC. Now, and that just leads me to ask a question because I don't know, and I wonder if you guys know. But I know the iPhone 5 has the 5 gigahertz wireless in it, which connects to my Airport Express. You know, not also at the 2.4, but also at the 5. Now, does 5 go across other Apple products, or is it just the iPhone and the Airport? Like
the AC?
No, I think the
5 gigahertz
5 does go across the current MacBook Airs.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah, because
later Mac hardware. Yeah.
So I mean, that's just part of the end spec, isn't it? Still, that's fine. It might have even been the price spec.
And the AD has just been announced too, which is going to be both 5 and 2.5 or something. So
because AC is only 5. That being said, that's still 1,300 megabits, so that's not too tardy.
No.
And storage on this little puppy, what's that like?
It's got SSD only, so no hard drives. Along with the RAM, it's the only thing that you can actually upgrade or change. I'm not sure if they mentioned.
Yeah, okay. So the storage is provided by the SSD stick, and then so for more storage, you've got to go to a NAS or similar. That's interesting.
Yeah, I guess once you fill up the available slots there. Yeah.
Well, that wouldn't take you much. If you got a Pro, you've obviously got it for some particular reason, and that's probably video production or something.
If you've got a Pro and you'd have it for video production or something similar, and you'd have a crap load of, you'd have NAS, you'd have something external to that.
Well, that's right. You sort of have all your assets external because you're probably going to have a number of people working on them.
Yeah.
As well as being damn big.
All right. So I think that's pretty much done with all that. What about, can we move on to iOS 7?
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, sure.
There's been a little bit of interest in that.
It's very pretty.
It does look very pretty, doesn't it? And I'll put a screenshot up there.
Something.
Yeah.
The new flat iOS 7 and designed by Sir John.
Rainbows.
Now,
apparently not black and white and flat all over, but pretty colours and flat all over.
Yeah. I guess all the drop shadows and that are gone, but it's got some almost like layered, isn't it? Some translucent type of effects. So
3D-ish, yeah.
Flat, it's 3D-ish, and some shimmery type effects depending on how you hold and look at the screen, which is interesting.
If you're holding it right.
That's larger eye context.
Since Microsoft started with the flat Metro design, now everybody's putting it in. Windows has got it. Now Apple's got it, so it's going to be the future for a while.
Yeah,
for a little while anyway.
But they're not live. They're not live tiles. So
no, the only things that update is the I think the clock and the calendar.
The clock doesn't.
It doesn't.
I believe it's the clock and the weather don't. I think it's only the calendar So
Same
that
as
only
it
needs
is
to
now.
update
There was
once a day.
speculation that the clock might, because it had a different time to the iOS 6 clock, so they thought maybe it was. Why would you?
Is
why
it
would
just
you
me?
put
Was
the-
this iOS 7 actually, other than being a little bit pretty, quite a disappointment?
For me, yeah.
Yeah, is
There's a
there?
whole lot there.
It's done a lot of catch up with the others. It's got the quick
Yeah.
settings in the control panel for
Control
turning
center's nice where that scrolls up, but again, as you say, well, like it's catch up. You don't need to go through 3 layers of menus to do something with your Bluetooth or go into flight mode or
which
anything.
everyone wanted years ago. It was funny
Yeah.
because a lot of people were saying, I saw a retweet from guy I Hate Snow who does the jailbreaking for iOS devices. And he retweeted somebody who was saying, look, first you guys are like, Apple needs to do something like SB settings so we can easily change our Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and stuff. And then they brought out the control center and then they went, you just copied SB settings. Oh, you can't be pleased no matter what we do. You can.
No, well, that's right. Yeah.
Here's just a shot for those on the vid of the old and new weather app. So
The weather looks suspiciously like the like the Yahoo weather app that came out earlier in the year, and it looks very nice. And I mean, in the demo as well, it's look again. This is, I guess, catch up as well with the nice little animations with the lightning and the snow on the North Pole and that they showed on the video. So
Yada, yada, yada. Seriously speaking,
I have that on
this
my
is,
Android. It's in the
iOS.
background.
No, sorry.
Sorry, Garth.
go Garth.
I was just going to say, the design of the weather app and how pretty it is behind, the backgrounds and so forth. They're taking up part of WWDC, the keynote with that. To me, that's just like,
That's nothing.
well, we haven't really got anything important to tell you.
Yeah.
So let's tell you how
we'll talk about the weather.
how we've made the weather prettier.
Well, I'm
Well,
more.
I don't know. I'm being a bit of a naysayer, and I'm looking forward to it. And I can't wait to get it on the device and yada yada yada. But
Yeah, I know.
other than,
one
I
of
mean,
the
there's a few
comments.
nice under the hood things here, like with the like we were talking about earlier, with the way that apps are updating in the background and stuff like that, and the keychain across
is that a
Mac
good thing?
to iOS, but stuff like that. That is the good stuff as far as I'm concerned. All this dressing on top is just, who cares? But I guess people do.
Yeah. So just on that one, Garth, though, with the apps updating in the background, are you happy to let Apple decide that the apps need to be updated? Or has anyone seen anything where you have the option that
Yes,
you can
you
either let
can.
Apple choose? Oh, okay.
You can turn that off, and you can go into settings and turn off that auto updating. So when I said update, and this is going to happen a lot in conversations around iOS 7, updating in the background, I was meaning to say around, while we've got the radios powered up, let's check our GPS, let's check for notifications, yada yada, that sort of updating,
Yeah.
as opposed to the update of the actual app itself in terms of the version number. Two different things. And with the versioning, you can disable that. So in the same place that you go into, not that I've looked at beta 7 at all, but in the same place that you go into change whether or not apps are automatic. How you can choose whether or not your apps are automatically pushed to each device? Well, if I buy an app at the moment on my iPhone, it'll be automatically pushed to my 3rd gen iPad, but it won't be automatically pushed to my iPad mini.
Right.
That's just how I've got it set up to work. So you can do the same thing with the auto updating in the background of the actual.
I mean, I probably will turn it on because forever I'm just going update all, update all, update all, and on the iPhone, iPad, it's something that I'll.
Warlock, what did you have to say there?
Yeah, I've got this. Well, I've currently got that on my Android. Whenever it connects to the home Wi-Fi, it just automatically updates all the apps. So I'm happy for it to do that in the background. So I'm always up to date. There's a few things, like some applications, when you run them, it checks with the server to see if you've got the latest version, and then it'll say, sorry, you can't run this. You need to update to the latest version. And then you go, well, I'm in the office. I just got here. It's 10 o'clock, or you're on the train on the way to work. I don't want to use up my 3G. So now I can't use this app whatsoever until I get back home again. But if it did it overnight while it was just sitting on the bedside table without you having to press a button to say update all, then that's a great idea for that.
Mm.
It's probably a niche case, but for for people like myself who are blind, quite often when not quite often, but occasionally when developers update an app, they completely break the accessibility. For a while, Navigant, that's an app you've gone and paid $70, $50, whatever for. When they updated from version 1.9 or whatever it was up to version 2, and they completely changed the interface, they completely broke accessibility on that for a while. 1 or 2 updates later, they'd sorted it out again. Enough of us had complained, and they'd gone, okay, yep, and fixed it. So for people like myself, a lot of us will probably have them turned off, have the auto updating turned off, until until we've got a canary in the mixed who can go and check. Okay, yep, have they screwed up the accessibility on that? No, cool, let's update.
Yeah,
but that's probably more of a niche case there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. All right. So, look, I think that anything multitasking is good. I thought my ears pricked up when I heard that, and that's what I need. Because I've got I go into the car and I put my music or the podcast I listen to through the Bluetooth, and I don't want the phone to ring through it. I don't know if you can turn that off, but the phone's ringing through interrupting me music, or the phone will ring when it's interrupting my directions or something like that. And I just wish you could direct the sound to different things. Maybe it needs to do that. Needs more sound cards in it. I don't know, and that's not going to happen. But
do you mean you want the phone to ring on a phone and ignore the fact that it's playing a podcast through your Bluetooth?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm wondering if you can actually do that now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Check.
I'll have that. We'll have
I've got a feeling that there's something to do with Anyway, I'll get back to
do it on the iPhone. They'll be able to do it on Android because you can interrupt and redirect anything where you want on there. But iPhone, everything's set by Apple, and things go where it's been preset to. They don't want you fiddling around with it. So. I'm guessing that would be a bit difficult there to write an app to do it. I mean, if Apple did it in the actual OS, then sure, that would probably work. But
yeah.
And Warlock, while you're there, what about iTunes Radio? That was something that was announced as well?
Yeah, that's interesting. It's a bit like Pandora or Spotify for your iPhone. It's also in the iTunes on Windows and Mac, so you can play stream-free audio based on your favorite music, which you can upload to Apple's server. And if you've got iTunes Match, it's going to be ad-free. But
nice.
If you don't, then you just have a few ads every now and then. I currently listen to Spotify on my desktop, the free version, and I don't mind ads, a couple ads every now and then. Some people it really annoys, so they want to pay money, and that's fine. You want to pay your $9 to $12, whatever.
Doesn't
you
annoy
can do
me.
That, but I just have a couple ads every now and then about some insurance company in the US or whatever. I ignore it. Along with what I'm doing.
Well, my ads are coming through in Italian, so I don't pay any attention to them at all.
Bellissimo!
That's right. I don't know what's happened, but anyway, that's what's happened.
So that hasn't been announced for Australia yet, I don't think, guys. So I believe
US
it was the
only.
US in fall. But like iTunes Match, I use that, and from memory, we got that pretty quick after the US. So
that wasn't too long, was it?
No, so hopefully we see that later in the year.
We've got a lot more to do with iTunes Match in terms of getting agreement from the all the record labels more so than they probably did with iTunes Radio more so than they did with iTunes Match. But iTunes Radio, all the rumors leading up to it, and I thought, who cares? I really don't care.
Yeah.
Pandora's there, Spotify's there. But funnily, when it was announced, and I thought, ad-free with iTunes Match, which is like $25, $30 a year, something like that over here?
$35 a year?
It's not much. Mine just renewed a little while ago, and I let it renew because, as it is, I think iTunes Match is not a bad deal.
Yeah, I like it.
When you get iTunes Radio for in that same price, compared to Spotify and Pandora, it's an excellent deal. I think I'm much more excited about it than I was prior to.
Now with the iTunes,
I did hear as well. Sorry,
Jace.
I was going to say I did hear as well on a podcast that you can make your own radio station and share it with friends. Obviously, for the idea that Apple are trying to, or the record companies are trying to sell music, so that if I make up a list of songs and share it with my friends, presumably we've got the same or similar taste, they're going to listen to it and Spotify music. So I'm not sure if any of the other guys have heard anything about that. And like, so what music is it? Can you then go and select any song that iTunes has, or is it only stuff you've got in your collection? I'm presuming it's
No,
only
it's
stuff you've
anything
got in
in
your collection.
iTunes.
Is it?
No,
Anything
no,
in
no.
No, it'd be
iTunes.
iTunes.
I mean,
Like
if it's only
Spotify.
stuff that you have in your collection, then you've already got iTunes Match. It's the same thing. No, it's stuff from the iTunes library that you haven't purchased yet.
Mm.
I mean, that's and from the record label's point of view, you know, they've probably been begging for iTunes, for Apple to get into this market, because they know that at the moment, who's the biggest seller of music? It's iTunes.
That's right.
And
But,
for a lot of people, if that music is playing and no one can stick a buy button right beside the song, as well as iTunes can, and no one buys more stuff through Apple. I mean, no one buys more applications than Apple users.
But do you think that? Do you really buy songs if you can listen to them for free? Say using Spotify for example, you can listen to that song whenever you want, as many times as you want, you know, on any desktop that you want, or on your mobile for $10 a month. Are you really going to buy a song?
I think a lot of people will,
Really?
especially when that buy button is so accessible. When the buy button is going to be sitting right there as the song's playing, which is not in Spotify, which is not in Pandora, and it's that fact, I think, that has allowed Apple to get such a good deal out of the record companies.
Right.
I mean, that's the cheapest. iTunes Radio is the cheapest thing out there in terms of what it's offering.
Like Shazam would probably make a lot of their money from people who click on the buy this song after Shazam has identified it for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I could get that, but then going back to it, like Warlock there, he's using the Spotify. I use Spotify / and Pandora. Why would I'm thinking I've got 90 gig of songs on my hard drive, and I've got the CDs in the cupboard. I'm thinking about getting rid of the whole thing. I don't need it. Why would I want to?
Well, it depends.
I think a lot of people still like to own their music.
If
I
it's
think
like
a lot of people out there.
Spotify, it might be okay, but you have to think of people who are going to be on a train that's going to have no 3G, so they can't stream their music, or small quotas, they're not going to be able to stream it. Or if they're just in the middle of nowhere on holidays and there's no 3G signal, they can't stream their music, so they've already bought it as well. They can just play their favorite tunes from there, and then when they get back home, they can connect to the Wi-Fi and stream whatever they want from the library.
Do we know actually with iTunes Radio whether or not it will cache songs on the playlist? It lets you manage that playlist ahead of time, but do we know whether
Spotify does? If you've got a paid account, you can cache.
Yeah, so I'm wondering with iTunes Radio if it does.
Yeah, we'll probably soon find out. We'll soon find out, I guess.
Let's hope so, Gleno. Let's hope so.
Yes,
Let's hope it comes here before too long.
All right. Now, I think that's pretty much wrapped up the most exciting points from the WWDC. Unless anyone else has got anything to add, are we all pretty happy with that?
Pretty much. The only thing I want is the MacBook Air. This current one I've got is great. It's 2 years old now.
Oh, no. Spare me.
That new one is so sexy. I want one right now. But
Yeah, all
there's
right.
no justification. So let's move on.
All right. Well, what we'll move on to is Jason has put some news stories together. Now we can quickly run through that to round out the show, I think, our first show back. Microsoft brings Office Mobile for Office 365 subscribers to iPhone. Well, there you go. Anyone got
So now you can edit your documents on your iPhone device that's been uploaded to your SkyDrive using Office 365. You can edit on the web using Office 365, and now it'll come down to your iPhone devices. You need a subscription with Office 365, of course, but you can just get the app and away you go, which has not been available before on the iPhone, so that's a great start.
Yeah.
No, I'd be wondering if it's going to come to the iPad, because I mean, this has been the whole thing, isn't it, of Office?
Yeah, I think it's
being on iOS devices.
You can press the X2 button on the iPad or something at the moment. They don't have an
That's
iPad
pretty
version.
ugly.
So the app's free, so you can get the app free in the store, and then you just pay Microsoft. Obviously, that's because Microsoft don't want Apple to get 30% of their sales.
And that's
Well,
actually
that's
an
interesting, isn't
interesting
it?
point that you bring that up, because you can purchase the subscription to 365 through the app. So there must have been some back dealings there between Apple and Microsoft, because, you know, like Audible, for example, used to be able to do that until Apple said, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, same with the Kindle apps, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. There's a newfound love there between Apple and Microsoft. I reckon we've got Bing and Siri, and we've got
Now, something I saw.
subscription to 365.
Something I
As I was
noticed.
saying the other night, it was funny. It used to be Microsoft versus Apple. Apple hates Microsoft. Microsoft sucked. Now it's like, oh, Microsoft, we love you, but we hate Google now. So we're going to Microsoft.
We'll
They've
gang up
moved
against
on.
Google.
That's
Yeah.
right. Moved on. Now, just something I noticed the other day, and you guys probably already knew this, but look, I knew someone with an iPhone 4, and I wanted to show him Siri, but it's not on the iPhone 4. So I guess is that because it's not powerful enough? It must be.
No, it's to make
because
it
Apple
upgrade
don't
to the
want it to be
iPhone
there.
5. It was originally on all the iOS devices before Apple bought Nuance and bought the technology for Siri, and then they removed the app from the App Store and made it iPhone 5 only.
Oh,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Or a
Well,
4S
or
only.
Express.
It did a lot more stuff as well. You could book tables for restaurants with it and manage a lot of calendar things that they can't do anymore. And
Yeah, it used to be
they're
useful.
slowly bringing more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disappeared
They
for 12
nerfed it.
months, and slowly Apple are putting all the functionality back in it again.
That was
And we all cheer them for it.
Yay!
Hurrah.
Hey, thank you.
And with new voices.
Yeah. All right.
Which is cool as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. All right. Now, the next one, these are from Warlock, aren't they? So the next one, Warlock's pulled out. Apple makes iWork for iCloud beta available to registered developers. Now, this will be right up your alley, Warlock.
Yeah, so this is going to be Apple's answer to Office 365 in the cloud, of course, and also the Google Pages and Google Drive stuff. So they've got their iWork for iCloud in browser now. So you get Pages, Keynote, and Numbers are available to registered developers as a beta release to try out.
Sweet.
And firstly, iWork. The one huge lacking feature is collaboration. So it's
That's right.
across your iCloud account. There's no collaboration like there is with Google Docs or with Microsoft. So that's the one huge downer on iCloud. On iWork in iCloud. The other thing is, as you mentioned there, Jace, for Apple, for registered developers, $100 to be an iOS developer, $100 to be a Mac developer. It's free to be a Safari developer or iCloud developer. So if anyone's out there wanting to try this stuff, wanting to download betas and
You know
so on,
which one to go for.
you know which one to sign up for.
All right, now this is This is one I want to have a look into. The new Airport Extreme base station, more interesting now as addition to 802.11ac radios equals fast. So, does that make any sense?
I guess after you've got your new Mac Pro, and it is in the new MacBook Airs have the AC radio. Obviously, you need a base station to communicate with something. So I guess Apple have refreshed the Airport Extreme base stations, so they now support 802.11ac as well as the N and G still. I think, as we mentioned before, you're looking at 1,300 megabits on AC, ends around about 450. So that's pretty nice.
Yeah, this will be a hardware upgrade, not a software upgrade.
Yeah, so it's a new box you need to be buying. I think one of the interesting things there was it also has a technology called beaming, so that if you have your new MacBook Air, Garth, and your new Airport Extreme base station, so you're not going to have.
And they really are a bundle, aren't they? I mean, if you walk into the Apple Store and you buy one, you buy the other. That's pretty much
that's right.
That's the way it's going to be. Yeah.
I believe that wherever you are, the radios will follow you and concentrate traffic towards you, so that you get the highest bandwidth. So
that's pretty cool, eh?
That sounds pretty interesting.
And that's just part of the AC spec, isn't it? Rather than the Extreme itself, it's part of the general AC spec, I think.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, not too sure.
The other interesting thing about it that iFixit found out when they bought one and did a breakdown was obviously with the Airport Extreme, which is just your wireless base station, there's also the time capsules, which is effectively an Airport Extreme with a hard drive in it. And literally, iFixit found that it's the same hardware. The hard drive's just missing out of the Extreme. So theoretically, if you were to get an Airport Extreme, I believe like the mount and some of the cablings in there to put in your own hard drive. They did mention they weren't sure how it was going to be powered, but it might be cheaper and you might be able to put larger capacity hard drives in there if you had an Airport Extreme and tinkered with it. So that's interesting.
It's only reading your show notes that I'd heard about that, and that to me was actually quite fascinating. I mean, it's an old cliche. It's become an old cliche, but I don't think that would have happened under Steve Jobs. I mean, to ship a device like the Extreme with this huge, like a hole in it, like a big empty space inside there, it seems quite. I was actually surprised with that.
Gobsmacked.
Sounds very anti-Apple-like.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem right,
Well, the drive bay's in there, all the cable is in there, so
it's like there's some cost cutting there that I would not have expect to have seen from Apple.
All right. Well, I think that might do us for this episode. That's just about everything that we've got to discuss and to keep it nice and short and tight. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the first episode of the Reboot Aussie Mac Zone. For now, if you got an email you want to send us or contact any one of us, for now, just maczone@aussietechheads.com.au. We'll get some emails set up shortly, and if you are nice enough, you can leave us a review in iTunes, and we're going to give one lucky reviewer a $20 iTunes voucher. So there you go. Go and leave a review in iTunes. Positive one to be nice. But
take a screenshot and mail it through too.
But constructive criticism's also welcome. So screenshot, mail it through, like we said. All right, so that's about it. Thanks, boys. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. See you next week.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.
See you later, guys.
All right, and we'll see you next week, Aussie Mac Zone. So join us again Tuesday for the live stream, or make sure you put us in your feed on your iPhone. All right, good stuff. See you then. Bye-bye.